AI, it feels like it's changing everything these days.
Right.
From how we create art to even like how we diagnose diseases.
Yeah.
But what about work?
Yeah.
You know, like how we actually do our jobs.
Oh, that's changing too.
That is changing.
Big time.
So today we're going deep on how AI is shifting the tasks knowledge workers are focusing on.
We're going to look at a study.
We're going to do that by looking at a fascinating study from Harvard Business School.
Yeah.
Called
Generative AI and the Nature of Work.
Generative AI and the Nature of Work. By the end of this deep dive,
you'll understand.
You'll understand how AI is changing the very tasks that knowledge workers, focus on every day, and what that might mean for you.
Oh, it's exciting. So this study dives into something called the Lynchpin problem.
Lynchpin problem.
Which is this idea that in lots of different fields, a small number of really skilled people become absolutely essential.
Like they're holding the whole thing together.
Yeah, like linchpins.
Gotcha, okay.
And a great example of this is open source software.
Okay.
So this is the code that powers a lot of the internet.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big deal.
It is a huge GE deal.
Yeah.
And their work is, so valuable.
Right.
But a lot of times these projects are
under-resourced.
Really under-resourced.
Yeah.
So these linchpin developers, the best of the best, are in super high demand.
Yeah, I bet they're busy.
Oh, they are so busy.
Yeah.
They're not just writing code, right?
Right.
They're managing projects,
right.
Reviewing, contributions from other developers,
right.
Answering questions,
right.
Basically keeping the whole system running.
Yeah.
They do so much.
I mean, that sounds stressful.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And that brings us to GitHub Copilot.
Okay, so this is an AI tool.
Yes.
That's like having a coding partner right in your text editor.
Exactly.
So it suggests code.
Yeah.
Completes functions. Even anticipates what you're trying to build.
It's wild.
Which is kind of wild.
Yeah.
So
in 2022,
GitHub
rolled this out to everyone. Right?
Like general access?
Yeah.
For a paid version?
Yeah, for a paid version.
To keep using it.
To keep using it.
But there's a twist.
There is a twist.
Okay, I love a good twist.
So they gave free access to certain groups.
Okay.
Including students.
Okay.
And you guessed it.
Top open source developers.
The linchpins.
Oh, that's smart.
Well, it was good for everyone.
Yeah.
But especially for these researchers because it created this perfect...
Natural experiment.
Natural experiment, yes.
Oh, I love it.
Where they could study the real impact of using Copilot.
Right, on how developers actually spend their time.
Exactly.
Oh, and the findings are fascinating.
Oh, they're so cool.
Developers with free access to Copilot started spending more time on, wait for it, coding. And less time on all of those project management tasks.
All that other stuff that was bogging them down.
Yeah.
That they didn't really want to be doing anyway.
So that's a pretty big deal.
It is a big deal.
It suggests
AI can free up these
these really skilled people to focus on their strengths.
Their core strength.
The stuff that
the work that only they can do.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Almost like AI is
letting us
reimagine the workflow.
Yeah.
Potentially opening up all these new possibilities for how we work and who we work with.
Totally.
So how did this shift happen though?
Right.
What was it about Copilot that actually changed how these developers were working?
Well, the researchers, they dug into that question and they found two primary mechanisms that seem to explain this.
Okay, let's hear it.
So the first one is autonomy. Copilot seems to be empowering developers to work, more independently on their own.
Allowing them to kind of solve problems themselves.
Yes.
Instead of constantly needing to coordinate with other people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's this AI assistant, right?
Yeah.
And suddenly...
you feel more
self-sufficient.
Self-sufficient, maybe even more confident to tackle these complex problems without needing as much help.
Yeah, exactly.
And the data supports that.
Oh, yeah. They saw that developers using Copilot were working with fewer collaborators.
Wow.
And making more solo contributions.
So less back and forth, fewer meetings.
Fewer meetings.
More time to actually
get
things done.
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge for productivity.
It really is.
Yeah.
But it also raises, some interesting questions about
the future of collaboration.
The future of collaboration.
Right? Are we all going to be lone wolves now, just working in our own little silos?
Well, that's a little extreme.
I know, but I'm just playing devil's advocate here a little bit.
No, it's a good point. It's a valid concern.
Yeah.
But I think it's more about, optimizing collaboration.
Okay.
Not necessarily eliminating it.
So maybe AI helps us focus our energy,
collaborative energy,
on the things that really require, that human interaction,
yes.
the strategic decisions,
absolutely.
That creative brainstorming, the relationship building.
Exactly.
All that good stuff.
Yeah.
That AI can't do.
Right.
Okay, so that's autonomy.
That's autonomy.
But you said there's another mechanism at play here.
There is another one.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
It has to do with how Copilot is influencing, how developers approach their work.
Okay, yeah, tell me more.
The second mechanism is the shift toward exploration.
Exploration, okay.
So remember how we were talking about how Copilot seemed to encourage developers to try new things?
Right, branching out into new projects in programming languages?
Yes, and they found that this wasn't limited to just languages. Developers with free Copilot access were also more likely to contribute to
totally
new software projects, ones they hadn't worked on before.
Oh, wow. So they were really venturing outside their comfort zone.
They were.
Taking on new challenges.
Yes.
That's impressive.
It is.
So, this suggests that AI could have a huge impact on, innovation in general.
Yeah.
Because
if people are more
willing to experiment and explore, it stands to reason they're going to be
more likely to find
stumble upon those breakthrough ideas.
Exactly.
And guess what?
What?
This increase in exploration was especially pronounced for you guessed it.
The lower skilled developers.
Those lower skilled developers.
Yeah.
So it's AI is
democratizing innovation.
And making it
accessible
to a much wider range of people.
Exactly.
That's really fascinating.
It's really cool.
So AI is not just about efficiency.
Right.
It's a potential driver of innovation as well.
It is. There's another layer to this that I think you'll find interesting.
Okay, lay it on me.
So this impact of AI on exploration and the shift towards, more coding versus project management, it was even stronger.
The lower skilled developers.
Really? So you think that the more experienced developers would benefit more from the AI assistance?
It's a natural assumption.
Yeah.
But the data says something different.
Huh.
It looks like Copilot is leveling the playing field in a way.
Yeah.
It's allowing, the less experienced developers to contribute more effectively.
To punch above their weight a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so AI could be a tool for closing the skills gap then.
Potentially, yes.
And empowering those who might not have as much experience to still contribute in,
meaningful
ways.
Meaningful ways, yeah.
That's one of
the most promising things about this research.
Yeah.
It suggests that AI could really democratize
access
to knowledge and skills.
Okay.
And lead to a more
inclusive and equitable workplace.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about software developers this whole time. But if AI can level the playing field in software development, what does that mean for other professions?
Right.
Could it change the game for everyone?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And that's something that we'll be exploring further in this deep dive.
I like it.
But before we jump ahead,
let's
take a closer look at these two mechanisms, autonomy and exploration. And see what they reveal about the future of work.
Sounds good to me.
So, welcome back. Let's dig a little deeper into these two mechanisms.
Yeah.
Starting with autonomy.
Right.
So, this study found that it wasn't just ANY type of project management task that decreased when developers started using Copilot.
Okay.
It was specifically the tasks that required a lot of interaction.
With other developers. Gotcha.
So things like
responding to questions.
Yeah.
Coordinating code reviews.
Coordinating on those code reviews. Yeah.
All that back and forth.
Okay. It seems like Copilot enabled developers to solve problems more independently.
So they didn't need to be constantly
reaching
out, getting clarification.
Exactly.
Makes sense if Copilot's helping you write code faster.
Yeah.
With fewer errors. You're less likely to need to ask for help.
Right. It's like you've got
this AI assistant that's like...
That's got your back.
That's got your back.
Yeah.
So
this shift towards like more autonomous work, it has some interesting implications.
Like what?
Well, I mean, for one, it could mean a more like streamlined, efficient workflow.
Because you're cutting out all that
time spent coordinating, communicating.
Yeah, that's got to be huge GE for productivity.
It is.
But it also makes me wonder about like the future of collaboration. You know, are we all going to be lone wolves now? Just like
in our own
little cubicles, just like not talking to anybody?
Well, I think that's a little extreme.
Okay, fair enough.
But it's
a valid concern, though.
It is.
Yeah.
I think it's more about how we can optimize collaboration, not necessarily eliminate it altogether.
So maybe AI is going to help us focus our collaborative energy on the things that really do require that human connection, the strategic decisions.
The brainstorming, the building of relationships.
All the good stuff.
All the stuff that AI can't do.
Right.
And that brings us to the second mechanism.
Okay, exploration.
The shift towards exploration.
Right. So we were saying how Copilot seemed to encourage developers to
try new things,
branch out into new projects, new programming languages.
And they found that this wasn't even limited to just languages.
Oh.
Developers with free Copilot access were also more likely to contribute to.
Like entirely new software projects?
Entirely new software projects.
Wow. So they were really like
venturing out.
Taking on new challenges.
Yeah, pushing your boundaries.
That's really impressive.
It is.
And again, it makes me think about like the implications for innovation.
Totally.
Because if you've got more people willing to experiment and explore,
they're more likely to.
They're more likely to stumble upon those breakthrough ideas.
Exactly.
And wouldn't you know it?
What?
This increase in exploration was especially pronounced for
lower skilled developers.
Those lower skilled developers. It's like AI is really democratizing
innovation and making it accessible.
Accessible to a much wider range of people.
A much wider range of people, exactly.
So it's really exciting.
It's really cool to see.
Because it means that AI is not just about efficiency.
Right.
It's a potential driver of innovation. As well.
Yeah, it's not just about doing things faster. It's about doing
new things.
New things, yeah.
So
all this talk about AI's impact on developers.
Yeah.
It got me thinking about other professions, you know?
Totally. Like it's easy to see how these findings could apply to fields where AI is already like
making inroads.
Yeah.
Like what are you thinking of?
Well, like medicine.
Okay, yeah.
Imagine AI-powered tools that could help doctors diagnose patients or like analyze medical images or even like suggest treatment plans.
That's already happening.
It's already happening.
To some extent.
Right. But it's only going to get more sophisticated.
Absolutely.
So in that scenario, doctors could spend less time on like those data-intensive tasks and more time on like the human side of medicine.
Yeah, like building relationships with their patients.
Yeah.
Providing emotional support.
Right. Like dealing with those really complex ethical decisions that require like human judgment. Exactly.
Yeah.
Or what about the legal profession?
Oh, yeah. Like AI could help lawyers with research, document review, like drafting contracts.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff, that's like...
That takes up so much time.
So much time.
Yeah.
That's not really
using their expertise.
Using their
full potential, right?
Right. So this could free up their time to focus on strategy.
Yes.
Like developing legal arguments, negotiating settlements, advising their clients on those really like intricate legal matters.
Yeah, the stuff that they went to law school for.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So in both of these cases, like AI isn't replacing the human expert.
No.
It's more like...
It's augmenting their capabilities.
Yeah.
Allowing them to focus on those aspects of their work that really require...
Those uniquely human skills. The empathy.
Yeah.
The judgment.
The creativity.
The strategic thinking.
Exactly.
It's almost like AI is pushing us toward a more like human-centered way of working.
Yeah, where we're leveraging technology to handle like the heavy lifting so that we can focus on
what makes us human.
What makes us human.
That's a really compelling thought.
It is.
But, of course, with any technological advancement, you know,
We have to consider.
We have to consider the potential downsides.
The potential downsides, right.
Like what?
Well, I mean, there's the question of job displacement.
Right. If AI is automating so many of the tasks that we do now.
What happens to the workers?
Yeah, what happens to the people whose jobs are affected?
It's a valid concern.
Yeah, we need to be thinking about how we can reskill.
Reskill, upskill.
Upskill those workers.
Yeah, so they can thrive.
So they can thrive in this AI-powered world.
In this new world of work.
Exactly. So education and training are going to be crucial.
Absolutely.
And we also need to make sure that AI is being developed.
And implemented.
Responsibly.
Yeah. All right.
Ensuring that it benefits all of society.
Right, not just a select few.
Exactly.
And that brings us back to the Harvard study.
Yeah.
And its implications for
the Lynchpin problem.
The Lynchpin problem.
Right, this idea that AI could potentially alleviate the burden.
On those highly skilled individuals.
Who are like essential to the functioning of our systems.
Right, they're holding everything together.
Holding everything together, yeah.
And this is particularly relevant in fields like open source software development, where the contributions of just a small number of developers can have a huge impact.
On everyone.
On everyone, yeah.
And where those developers are often like already juggling so much.
Right.
They're coding. They're managing projects.
You're managing communities.
Yeah, they're stretched thin.
They're stretched thin.
So AI could be like this much needed helping hand.
Yes.
That allows those linchpin developers to work more efficiently.
More effectively.
Yeah. And ultimately.
Benefiting everyone who relies on their work.
Oh, right. Everyone benefits.
Everyone benefits.
It's like giving them superpowers.
It is.
To do even more amazing things.
Yeah, I love that analysis.
And that's what makes this research so exciting, right?
It's so cool.
It shows us that AI has the potential to not just change how we work,
but to reshape
the very nature of work itself.
To empower us to do more.
Yeah.
To be more.
And to create a future where work is more
meaningful.
More
fulfilling.
And
more aligned with our human potential. I love that.
A future where AI and human intelligence work together.
In harmony.
To
create a better world.
Indeed.
That's a future worth striving for.
Okay, so we've talked about AI's impact on, software developers.
Mm-hmm.
We even touched on some other professions.
Yeah.
But I want to get like even more personal.
Okay.
Like, what does all of this mean for, the average person listening right now?
For the individual listener.
Yeah. Regardless of their field.
Right.
We've seen how AI can, boost productivity, shift focus to like those core tasks.
Yeah.
Even encourage exploration.
Yeah.
So what can, the average person actually take away from this research?
Well, I think one of the most compelling things is this potential for AI to really level the playing field.
Okay, yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
Right. We saw how
the lower skill developers really benefited from Copilot.
Mm-hmm. What if that, holds true in other fields too?
Right. Like, imagine AI tools that can help students grasp complex subjects faster.
Totally.
Or AI assistants that empower, entry-level workers to take on tasks.
That used to require,
years of training.
Experience.
Right.
Yeah.
It could transform industries that are, facing talent shortages and open up opportunities for a much wider range of people.
Yeah, it's like a more inclusive.
It's equitable.
Where your potential matters more than your
credentials.
Yeah.
Like what you've done in the past.
Exactly.
That's a future I can get behind.
That's exciting.
But, there's another layer to this, too, that I think is really interesting.
Okay, tell me more.
This study suggests that AI might actually change the structure of organizations.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so those traditional hierarchies where managers,
oversee everything.
Oversee every little detail, they might become
less
relevant in this AI-powered world.
In an AI-powered world, yeah.
Because AI can kind of take over some of those managerial tasks.
Right. Think about it.
Yeah.
If AI can handle scheduling, resource allocation, performance monitoring, even some basic decision making.
Yeah.
What does that leave for human managers to do?
Right. It frees them up from the more routine stuff.
Yeah, the stuff that they probably don't enjoy that much anyway.
But does that mean that managers become obsolete?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it's more likely that their role just evolves. So instead of being the boss, they become more
Like coaches, mentors.
Coaches, mentors, facilitators.
Yeah.
They're guiding their teams, fostering collaboration.
Focusing on those high-level decisions.
That require that human judgment.
It's a very different kind of leadership.
It is. It's a much more like nuanced approach.
And this shift, this could lead to like
more flexible, more agile organizations.
Where teams have the power to like
make decisions.
Solve problems.
Independently, yeah.
Which seems pretty crucial.
In today's
world. Fast-paced world.
Yeah.
We got to be able to adapt quickly.
We do.
And it also like makes me think about like the rise of distributed leadership.
Oh, interesting.
So instead of like all the decision-making power being concentrated at the top,
right,
it becomes more spread out.
Throughout the organization.
So like
more people
have the opportunity to lead.
Yeah.
Contribute their ideas.
Regardless of their position.
Regardless of where they are in the hierarchy.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
It could lead to a more like engaged and motivated workforce.
Where everyone feels like they have like a stake in the game.
Ownership,
yeah.
Exactly.
Now, I know, some people listening might be thinking, okay, this all sounds great, but what about the downsides?
Right.
Like, is AI going to steal all the jobs?
It's a common concern.
Yeah.
And it's a valid concern. I think it's important to acknowledge those fears. But it's also worth remembering that, like, technological advancements
have always
disrupted the job market.
Yeah. Like the printing press, the automobile,
the computer,
all of these innovations, like they led to job losses in some areas.
Right.
But they also created
entirely new industries,
new jobs that we couldn't even have imagined before.
Exactly. And AI is no different.
Right.
Yes, some jobs will be automated, but new jobs will emerge.
Jobs that we can't even fathom right now.
Jobs that we can't even imagine.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what the future holds?
Right. And I think the key
is to be
adaptable,
to embrace
lifelong learning,
and to develop those like uniquely human skills
that AI can't replicate,
like creativity, critical thinking,
problem solving,
emotional intelligence,
collaboration,
all that good stuff. So the future of work
is in our hands.
We
have the power.
To shape how AI is used.
To make sure
it benefits everyone.
Yeah.
It's about finding that balance. Where human ingenuity and artificial intelligence
work
together to create
a more just, equitable, and fulfilling world of work.
That's a goal worth striving for.
It is.
This deep dive has, like, honestly, given me a whole new perspective on the possibility.
I'm glad to hear that.
And I hope it's done the same for you.
Me too.
Thanks for joining us on this exploration of AI and the future of work.